He said, "I'm not ready to be a dad. I need space to breathe." I said, "Then take all the space you need." What he found when he came back was a son who no longer called him father. My boyfriend Caleb dropped this on me while I was folding baby clothes at 11 p.m. Isolda, I can't do this. Being a dad feels suffocating. I need time to figure things out. I was 7 months pregnant. How much time? I asked, not looking up from the tiny onesies. Maybe a year, maybe more. I just need to be me again before I become someone's father. Here's what Caleb didn't know. I'd been saving money in a secret account for 6 months. My sister Celine had warned me he might bail after she went through something similar, so I'd been quietly preparing, putting away every spare dollar from my part-time job while he spent his weekends playing video games and hanging out with his single friends. I'd also been documenting everything. Screenshots of him ignoring my pregnancy updates in our group chat. Photos of him at parties while I dealt with morning sickness alone. Voice recordings of him complaining to his buddies about how trapped he felt. My lawyer friend Alara had told me to keep records just in case. The night he told me he needed space, I watched him pack his gaming setup first. Not clothes, not essentials, his PlayStation and monitor. That told me everything I needed to know about his priorities. "You're right," I said calmly. "Take all the time you need." He looked shocked that I didn't fight him. Actually seemed disappointed that there wasn't drama. "Really? You're okay with this? I want what's best for our baby. If you're not ready, then it's better you're honest about it now." He packed his stuff that night, promising to check in and figure things out. I helped him load his car, even smiled and hugged him goodbye. His friends probably thought I was being super understanding. What they didn't see was me changing all the locks the next morning, or me calling the landlord to remove his name from our lease since he'd officially moved out, or me canceling the joint baby registry and creating a new one with just my name. I threw myself into nesting mode, painted the nursery myself, assembled the crib with YouTube tutorials, took childbirth classes with my mom as my coach. Kylem's mom kept calling, asking when she could see her grandchild. I was always polite. Kylem made his choice. When he's ready to be involved, he knows how to reach me. Meanwhile, his social media was full of him, living his best life. Bars, concerts, weekend trips with friends, photos with captions like "finally free" and "no responsibilities." His buddies commented things like "living the dream man" and "dodge that bullet." 2 weeks before my due date, I started working at the coffee shop where I'd been a regular customer. The manager, Dorian, had always been kind to me during my pregnancy, making sure I had a comfortable chair and didn't have to stand too long. When I mentioned needing flexible work after the baby came, he offered me a part-time position with benefits. Dorian was recently divorced, no kids of his own, but incredibly patient and understanding. He never pushed for anything romantic, just became a genuinely supportive friend. He'd check on me during breaks, bring me prenatal vitamins I'd forgotten, and even came with me to a doctor's appointment when my mom couldn't make it. 2 months later, I had the most beautiful baby boy. Named him after my dad, not Caleb. Posted pictures with captions like "just me and my son" and "my little family of 2. Caleb's mom called constantly, begging for updates. I was polite but firm. He chose not to be involved. When my son turned 1, Caleb showed up unannounced with a teddy bear and apologies. "I'm ready now. I want to meet my son." I opened the door wider so he could see inside. My son was taking his first steps toward another man, Dorian, who I'd been dating for 8 months. The same Dorian who'd been at every doctor's appointment, every sleepless night, every first smile. My son reached Dorian and said his first clear word, "Dada." Caleb's face crumbled. "But I'm his father." I smiled. "Biology doesn't make you a dad. Showing up does, and Dorian's been showing up since day 1.
What did your bully do that changed how you saw them forever? Marcus was the reason I hated school in 10th grade. He'd wait by my locker to trip me, make fun of my glasses, and take half my lunch money, telling me to thank him for letting me keep the rest. One day, I found him crying in the empty art classroom. He wiped his eyes and growled, "Tell anyone, and you're dead." The next day, he pushed me twice as hard. Things got weird. He started making a pink and purple friendship bracelet in art class. At lunch, he saved his desserts, wrapping them carefully in napkins. Then Marcus disappeared. Days turned to weeks. Rumors spread. He moved. He got expelled. He was in juvie. Nobody knew the truth. I saw him at the mall later. Before I could hide, he spotted me. But instead of threats, he looked desperate. "You have a PlayStation Portable, right? I'll pay double." "Why?" His eyes watered. "My sister. She loved watching me play games, but now she's in that hospital bed." He pulled out the friendship bracelet, now attached to a hospital ID band. "She's 8. The chemo. She's so scared." I handed him my PSP. He reached for his wallet, but I stopped him. "Keep it. Games help during chemo." A month later, a package appeared in my locker. Inside was my PSP and a photo. Marcus and a smiling little girl with fuzzy new hair wearing matching bracelets. The note read, "Emma's winning. She beat all my high scores. We're seniors now. Emma's cancer-free, and Marcus? He's one of my closest friends."
My fiance said, "I need to sleep with my ex one last time for closure." I said, "Take all the closure you need." Then I called her dad. Been with Jenna for 3 years. Engaged for 6 months. Wedding planned for next spring. Last Tuesday, we're having dinner when she drops it. "Marcus, I need to tell you something. Trevor reached out last week. Her ex, the musician, who treated her like garbage for 2 years. We've been talking. I realized I never got proper closure with him. There's still unresolved feelings." Unresolved feelings? Not love. I love you, but I need to close that chapter properly before we start our life together. "How exactly do you close this chapter?" She looked at her plate. "I need to see him one more time. One night just to get it out of my system." "You're asking permission to sleep with your ex. It's about closure. The physical part is just part of that process." I stared at her. 3 years, ring on her finger, wedding venue booked, and she's asking to bang her ex for closure. "You know what, Jenna? Take all the closure you need." Her face lit up. "Really? You understand?" "Absolutely! Go right ahead!" She launched herself at me, covering my face with kisses. "You're amazing!" "So mature. It's just one night, and then we'll be stronger than ever." "When were you planning this?" "Saturday. He has a show Friday night." "Perfect. Text me the address." "Why?" "Just want to know where you are for safety." She practically skipped to bed. I waited until she was asleep, then found Trevor's address in their text chain. Lots of "can't wait to see you" with heart emojis. Then I called her dad. Richard's a Marine veteran, owns a construction company. Conservative as hell. We get along great. He's already calling me son. "Marcus, it's late." great. Everything okay? Hey, Richard, quick question. Jenna mentioned helping her friend Sarah move Saturday. Did she tell you guys? Pause. She told her mother she's having a spa weekend. I don't want to get in the middle of this, but she's planning to visit Trevor on Saturday. The silence was deafening. Trevor, her ex Trevor. Richard had threatened to rearrange Trevor's face when they broke up. Yeah, she says she needs closure. What's the address? I gave it to him. We hung up. Saturday came. Jenna spent 2 hours getting ready. New lingerie. I saw the tags in the trash. Fresh manicure. The works. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Thank you for being so understanding. Take your time. Get all the closure you need. She left at 6 p.m. At 6:45, Richard texted. I'm here. At 7:23, my phone exploded. Jenna calling. I let it ring. Texts flooding in. What did you do? My dad is here. This is crazy. How could you? At 8:15, Richard called. She's in my truck. We're having a conversation about honesty and respect. Is she okay? She's fine. Embarrassed. Trevor nearly wet himself when I knocked. Opened the door in his boxers with candles lit everywhere. He snorted. Closure my ass. What now? Now I drive my daughter home. You should pack her things. I'd already started. Jenna came home to find her stuff in boxes by the door. The screaming started immediately. You humiliated me. You called my dad. You asked to sleep with your ex. I said, go ahead. You said you understood. I understood perfectly. That's why your stuff's packed. She tried everything. Tears, anger, seduction. Nothing worked. Finally called an Uber to her parents' house. Then Trevor showed up at my job. Skinny jeans, guitar pick necklace, pushing 30, and dressed like 2008 never ended. Bro, I didn't know she was engaged. She said you guys were having problems. So controlled, I let her do whatever she wanted. She's all yours. His face changed. Wait, what? No, I don't want anything serious. It was just going to be one night. Congratulations. You got blocked by consequences. Security escorted him out. Last weekend, I was at a bar when Trevor walked in with Jenna. They were clearly on a date. Her hanging all over him. She saw me and walked over. Marcus, how are you? Great. You got your closure. I see. This isn't we're just talking. In that dress. Sure, Trevor came back, saw me, tried to steer her away. You threw away our future over nothing. Over you asking to sleep with the guy you're literally on a date with right now. The bar was getting quiet. Hey, Trevor, she tell you she was buying lingerie for your closure session while wearing my engagement ring. Trevor went pale. What engagement ring? The one I gave her 6 months ago when I proposed. Trevor looked at Jenna. You said you guys broke up months ago. We were having issues. We had 0 issues until you invented one. Jesus Christ, Jenna. Again? Apparently this wasn't her first closure request. She'd pulled this with Trevor too. Needed closure with her high school ex. Trevor walked out. Just left her there. Jenna turned on me, tears streaming. Look what you did. I didn't ask you to sleep with your ex. You're so petty. I hope you die alone. I'd rather die alone than live with someone who needs to sample other dicks for closure. She threw her drink at me. Security threw her out.